Good afternoon, Dan Delmar in for Aaron just for today. So good news, especially for those who have variable mortgages. The Bank of Canada made a sizable cut to its key lending rate today from 4.25% down to 3.75%. So that's a half a percentage point cut, not just the usual quarter percentage point. And good news again for those who have variable mortgages. Is it good news for the real estate sector in general? Good news for renters even over the long term? Our guest now is LJ Aguinaga. He is a certified residential and commercial real estate broker, a founder of LJ Realties, and the co-host of Under One Roof right here on CJAD 800. Hi, LJ.
Hey, how's it going? Thank you so much for having me.
My pleasure. Good news today. You sound like you have a pep in your step.
Definitely have a pep in my step. Honestly, we've been looking for a bit of relief, and the fact that the Bank of Canada has come out with this 50 basis point drop is very welcome change for anybody holding a variable rate mortgage, but even anybody who has been leveraging their line of credit over the last couple of months, even companies, most encourage the economy to take off again, right? So doing this right now, we're obviously encouraging builders to jump back into the market. This should help builders write their pro formas a little bit differently, and things are going to start to look a little bit more profitable, right? So even if they have to go out and get some private money or take on more leverage in order to make a project happen, they're actually going to be able to float these loans a bit better now, and therefore they're going to be open to taking on this risk, especially with the promise of more reductions to come over the next couple of months. This is only pointing in the direction that we're going to have more housing starts. Housing is going to be a bit more affordable for people in the long term. We're not going to see an immediate impact, but just the carrying cost of mortgages is going to be easier for everybody.
Do you expect there'll be an increase in projects being green-lighted here in Montreal, or is really the backlog mostly due to kind of municipal bureaucracy and tough rules that are outside of the interest rates?
Unfortunately, I think that the bureaucracy and the red tape is really what slows down Montreal. I'm going through development myself, and it took almost 3 years to get the approval of the permits. And I know that a lot of developers as a whole has kind of put the brakes on Montreal just because of how difficult it's been. So as much as it's going to be a welcome change, I think that we still have a long way to go with the red tape of the municipalities jumping in and really slowing down the process in order to get more housing started officially.
So did you say you're waiting for a permit for 3 years?
They took us 3 years. Yeah, we bought a property in November 2020, and we only ever got the final permit issued. I believe it was February 2024. So almost 4 years throughout that process, three and change. It was a slow process. There was a lot of corrections, a lot of back and forth, a lot of pushback, a lot of CCU. I mean, and we were only doing a 9-unit construction. You can only imagine for a 20-plus how long or how much red tape there could be.
9 units, wow. And do you mind me asking what area of Montreal it was in?
This was in Point St. Charles, so the Sud-West borough.
Okay. So see, that's a classic example. I mean, here you are, you buy a small place, you want to make 9 units, have 9 families, live in Montreal, 9 families that probably wouldn't have had a home in Montreal before, and it takes you 3 years to get approval to start renovating, to start it.
Yep, that's it.
That's
insane.
insane.
We started pouring foundations last week, effectively. So from February to actually get to where we needed to go, dig the hole, do all that good stuff. I mean, we're hoping to have the units ready for July 1st, but that just gives you an idea how long and how much of a tedious process it can be to get a permit approved right now.
I actually didn't realize it was that crazy. I've heard a couple of years, but over 3 years, pushing 4 is. I mean, people are, losing their investments in some cases, because of permits. I would imagine.
I mean, look, we were definitely in the middle of, we'll call it COVID, if you will. So you had a lot of the city workers were working from home for the most part. They weren't having the regular meetings, or everything was just slower, and everything was being blamed on COVID effectively. So I suspect, and I really do hope, that a portion of that delay was due to that. But again, you're 100% right in assuming that a year to 2 years is pretty common practice for a permit in the Montreal area.
Okay, we won't beat up on the outgoing mayor anymore for now. Let's go back to the economics of this. Young homeowners now, very important news for them, especially as they look to get into their first mortgage.
100%. Look, again, we still have a ways to go here, but it is an interesting exercise right now where I know a lot of mortgage brokers have been encouraging their clients. I spoke to somebody today from RBC basically stating that, hey, we want to encourage people to go out and get a variable mortgage right now, and in a year or 18 months, have them lock in a fixed rate mortgage once they're at maybe sub 4%, maybe sub 3.5%, and really take advantage of that of the long term, because there's no penalty when you go from your variable rate mortgage into a fixed rate if you stay for the same amount of time or longer. Therefore, as this keeps coming down right now, it seems to be a pretty good option. And historically speaking, variable has typically been cheaper on the long run, so it might even be worth it to stay on that boat, given this increase right now. I mean, I had only priced in about a 50 to 75 basis point drop this year, and we're already at 1.25%. So, I mean, obviously the Bank of Canada wants to encourage the economy, which is showing signs of slowing down, and people are throwing around the R word. I definitely think that's a possibility with the recession coming up right now. So it's kind of a two-sided problem that we're having here. We're lowering the interest rates, which is going to encourage the economy, but we're only lowering them because we're seeing signs of the slowdown.
Good news for renters over the long term. Is it possible that there be some dulling of the increases renters are seeing?
Look, with inflation coming down overall, I expect it to mean that taxes are going to go up slower, insurance should go up slower, all the associated things, because rental increases are based on how much the operating costs increase from one year to another. So if taxes don't grow at an alarming rate, if insurance doesn't grow, if maintenance costs don't grow, et cetera, well, then the rental board calculator is going to be adjusted to take that into account. Therefore, the rates on the mortgages don't really impact the calculator, but they're all tied in to a certain extent. If inflation is down, rates are going to come down, and therefore the increases allowed are going to come down or not be as aggressive either.
All right, so good news for variable mortgage holders. I should mention I got really excited when the rates started being cut, and then my wife informed me that we chose a little known and very boring variable mortgage where you reinvest the savings back into the property. So I'd like to jump for joy today, but I'm not going to get to have more sushi next month.
Well, you know what? There's two types, right? You have the variable payment variable mortgage, which is one type, and then what you have, which is the fixed payment variable mortgage. The fixed payment variable mortgage was kind of a treat where people got to have a little bit more consistency. So even if it went up, they were paying down less capital, but they didn't have to worry about forking over more money every single month. At this point, as it's coming back down, obviously, well, now we're riding the wave in the other direction. You're effectively paying down more capital, which is going to be really great when you go to refinance in 3-5 years, whenever the end of your term is. But it's definitely a popular product. Different banks offer different things. It really depends on your situation. Like all things banking, different products should be better for different people, but I don't dislike that product.
I guess. I mean, it is the responsible thing to do. Fixed payment variable. It's the no fun mortgage. It's the no fun mortgage.
LJ, but as it was going up, there was less to worry about.
For sure, absolutely. LJ Aguinaga, LJ Realties, and Under One Roof right here on CJAD 800 Montreal. What time on the weekend, LJ?
We're on at noon on Sundays.
Excellent. Very good. Thanks, LJ.
Thank you. Take care.
On the way, James, many drama in Montreal, less drama in Ottawa, and as well Jean-François Lisée coming up in an hour as well on lots of different issues. So a really packed hour on the way.